$400 billion. That is what economists say Mansa Musa was worth in today's money. Elon Musk, $200 billion. Jeff Bezos, $180 billion. The richest man who ever lived was an African king in the 1300s. But here's the question that should bother you. Where did all that money go? His empire is gone, but the gold didn't disappear. Gold doesn't disappear. Someone has it. Let me show you who. First, you need to understand just how rich Mansa Musa actually was. Cairo, Egypt. A massive caravan arrives from the south, 60,000 people, 100 camels. Each camel carrying 300 pounds of gold. The man leading this caravan is Mansa Musa, Emperor of Mali. He is on his way to Mecca for religious pilgrimage. But watch what happens in Cairo. Musa doesn't just spend gold, he gives it away to everyone. Beggars become rich overnight. He hands out so much gold that something impossible happens. Gold becomes worthless. Think about this. Today, if Bill Gates gave away all his money in New York, dollar wouldn't lose value. The economy is too big. But Musa gave away so much gold that Egypt's entire economy crashed. The price of everything, bread, clothes, spices, went insane because gold meant nothing anymore. It took 12 years for prices to return to normal. One man walking through a city destroyed an economy with generosity. But where did all this gold come from? Simple. Mansa Musa controlled the source. The Mali Empire sat on the world's richest gold mines, but more importantly, it controlled the trade routes. Every ounce of gold heading from African mines to European kingdom passed through Mali. They taxed it all. Mali was the gate and Mansa Musa held the key. European kings literally drew maps showing Mansa Musa holding the golden nugget, labeled the richest king in all the land. But within 200 years, all of it was gone. So where did Mansa Musa's gold actually go? Let me trace it for you. After Mansa Musa died in 1337, the gold kept flowing through the same routes for another century. Then something changed. Portugal, a small European kingdom, is broke. They need gold desperately, but they can't afford to buy it from Arab traders who control the Sahara routes, so Portugal's Prince Henry the Navigator has an idea. Go around the Arabs, sail down the African coast, get the gold directly. Portuguese ships start creeping down Africa's west coast. It takes them 70 years, but by 1482 they reach the gold. They build a fortress called Elmina, literally means the mine, in what is now Ghana. And here's where Mansa Musa's gold start changing hands. The Portuguese don't mine gold themselves, they trade guns for it. African coastal kingdoms wanting more Portuguese weapons start redirecting gold away from the trans-Saharan routes to Portuguese ships. The gold that once went north through Mali now goes west to Portuguese forts. From there, Portuguese ships carry it to Lisbon. From Lisbon, it spreads across Europe. But here's the crucial part. The gold doesn't just buy things, it becomes the foundation of European banking. Italian banking families like the Medici in Florence use African gold to back their loans. This gold finances the Renaissance, Michelangelo's painting, Leonardo's inventions, all funded by gold that once belonged to Mali. But the Portuguese want more than gold. They have started sugar plantation in Brazil. Sugar is insanely profitable. They call it white gold. But sugar needs workers. So the Portuguese transformed their gold trading forts into slave trading forts. The same ships that carried gold to Europe now carry enslaved Africans to America. The profit from sugar sales, they go to European banks. This is where Mansa Musa's wealth really goes. It becomes a startup capital for European banking. Now, watch how the theft gets sophisticated. It's the 1800s. European banks are flush with cash from centuries of African gold and slave trade profits, but they want more. Here's their genius move. European banks approach African kingdoms with an offer. You want to modernize, build railways, buy modern weapons? We'll loan you money. Sounds helpful, right? But look at the terms. When Britain loans Sierra Leone money in 1871, the interest rate is 7%. When Britain borrows money itself, 3%. When France loans Morocco money, the condition is Morocco must hire French companies to build everything. When Belgium loans Congo money, 90% of it must be spent buying Belgian products. It's a trap. The African countries are borrowing their own stolen wealth back at inflated prices to buy European products. And when they can't pay back these impossible loans, the banks take everything. Can't pay your debt? We'll take your custom houses. All trade taxes now go to us. Still can't pay? We'll take your mines. Still can't pay? We'll take your government. This is how Europe conquered Africa, not with armies, those came later, with debt. The gold that made Mansa Musa rich had been turned into European capital, which was then loaned back to Africa at predatory rates. But one man perfected this system, Cecil Rhodes. You might know his name from the Rhodes Scholarship at Oxford University. Here is what they don't tell you about Rhodes. He arrived in South Africa in 1870, a sick teenager sent for the climate. Within 20 years, he controlled 90% of the world's diamond production. How? Rhodes got massive funding from one specific banker, Nathan Rothschild. The Rothschild Bank, built on centuries of European trade, gave Rhodes unlimited credit. With Rothschild money, Rhodes bought every diamond mine in South Africa, combined them into one company, De Beers. But here's Rhodes' evil genius. Diamonds are actually common. There are tons of them. So Rhodes locked up most diamonds in vaults, only released a few, created artificial scarcity, then launched history's greatest marketing scam: a diamond is forever. Suddenly, everyone needed a diamond to get married. A common stone sold at 1,000 times markup because one company controlled supply. When Rhodes died, his will created the Rhodes Scholarship, the world's most prestigious academic award. Think about that. Every Rhodes scholar, Bill Clinton, Rachel Maddow, their education was paid for by African blood and soil. The theft has been laundered through time into respectability. You think this is history? Look at your phone. The cobalt in your battery comes from Congo. Who controls it? Glencore, a company built on colonial mining rights. The chocolate you eat? Cocoa comes from Ghana. Who sets the price? Commodity exchanges in London and New York. The gold in your jewelry? Still comes from the same African mines, still controlled by the same companies. Anglo Gold Ashanti, descendant of Rhodes Empire, extracts $2 billion gold from Ghana annually. Ghana gets $90 million in taxes. But here's what really shows the continuity. The Rothschild Bank that funded Rhodes still exists, still worth $20 billion. De Beers Rhodes Diamond Company still controls global diamond supply. The wealth isn't gone, it just changed form. Instead of shipping gold directly, they now control the mines through investment, set the prices through commodity exchanges, take the profits through tax havens, loan the money back through the World Bank. Same extraction, same direction of flow, same families profiting. Let me show you the mathematics of what was stolen. Mansa Musa's Mali produced about 1 ton of gold per year. If Mali had simply saved that gold from 1324 to today, not invested, just saved, it would be worth $64 billion. But wealth compounds. If Mali had invested that gold at just 3% annual return, less than inflation, it would be worth $75 trillion today. That is more than the entire world's current GDP. Instead, that compounded wealth sits in Swiss banks founded on Nazi gold, London banks built on empire extraction, New York banks built on slave trade profits. The gold Mansa Musa gave away in Cairo, it was melted into European coins. Those coins bought ships. Those ships carried slaves. Those slaves created wealth. That wealth built banks. Those banks still exist. The theft that started with Portuguese ships taking Mansa Musa's gold continues today through corporate spreadsheet. Mansa Musa controlled half the world's gold, made him worth $400 billion. The system that destroyed Mansa Musa's empire didn't end. It evolved. The Portuguese came with ships. Now corporations come with loans. The gold that once made an African king the richest man in history now trades in London vaults, owned by descendants of those who stole it, protected by laws they wrote, generating interest they collect. History's greatest theft, hidden in plain sight, compounding every day. Mansa Musa gave away gold to show his wealth. That gold is still being given away, just in opposite direction. And unlike Mansa Musa's generosity, this transfer was never voluntary. Thanks for listening.